Rachel Warner.
I'm Lubika Rawood. For more information on the work that we do and how you can help us to help others, please visit our website www.secondchances.org.za.
In Junior Achievement South Africa, its focus is really to expose youngsters within high school and out of school to entrepreneurial thinking, and ours is focused at high school from grade 10 to 12.
I'm very big on youth empowerment and making a difference and touching lives and impacting the lives of our young people. That's practically what I do with my foundation as well, and ever since I was crowned as Miss SA.
The goal of the magazine is to basically share information that will be able to assist small business owners.
You're listening to The Social Show with Viwet Yolwana
And Lubika Rawood, live on brandlive.co.za.
Welcome to The Social Show. I'm freezing actually.
It's really, really cold today.
It is super cold. And you know, Lubika is that girl that doesn't always dress for the weather. So I think I'm just going to suffer for the rest of the day.
You never ever dress for the weather, Lubika. I feel like you're wearing like a short skirt today.
Uh-huh.
But it looks good on you.
Thank you.
It's really, really cold, girl.
I know. But it was the only thing that I could find in my closet that didn't need ironing. So hey,
Okay.
Don't kill me. But anyways,
Let's
go
Yeah.
with the news. Okay, so Gomotso High School in Pampierstad received a makeover from the Adopt a School Foundation. In the past, the school's biggest challenge was not the standard of education, but the provision of water and sanitation. Now, Mr. Ernest Matloling, who is the educator at Gomotso High School, said that there were days they had no water, and there were days where the toilets were blocked and they had to send learners home often earlier in the day. And not only did these issues impact a safe, conducive teaching environment, but not having a full school day places huge pressure on both learners and teachers in an already difficult teaching environment, he said. And in 2013, the school was adopted by the NGO Adopt a School Foundation, and the water and sanitation issues have been resolved. Other interventions included the introduction of early morning classes for matrics to focus on revision and extra lessons, as well as learner supplementary programs in mathematics and science over weekends and school holidays.
Hangberg Pre-Primary School, situated in Hangberg community of Hout Bay in Cape Town, opened its doors this month to the Rotary AMCUP. Cape Town's German-speaking Rotary Club spearheaded the funding of the Early Childhood Development Center and built the school together with Hangberg Education Trust and with the support of the Department of Education and Transport and Public Works. The much-needed learning facility will provide guidance and care to over 120 children. In attendance at the inauguration of the school were Provincial Minister of Transport and Public Works, Donald Grant, and Provincial Minister of Education, Debbie Schaefer. Both dignitaries expressed their optimism at the potential of the school to ease the plight of the most vulnerable in the community. There are approximately 2,900 school-going children and approximately 1,200 preschool children in the area. Only 2 registered play schools catering for some 200 children. For many of the children, the streets are their playground, and by the time the children enter school, many are struggling to cope.
Two explorers, Max McGilvray and Gareth Jones, initiated the Grapefruit Adventure when they took their 3-month motorbike trip across Europe and Africa on 8 November 2016. Now, Fruit South Africa has partnered with the Grapefruit Adventure to help promote awareness around the consumption of fresh fruit and vegetables, especially amongst children. They kicked off at New Spitalfields Market in London and reached Southern Africa on 11 January 2017. Now, Fruit SA is a non-profit organization formed by the Citrus Growers Association of Southern Africa, Hortgrow, the South African Table Grape Industry, Subtrop, and the Fresh Produce Exporters Forum. Now, stunned that 6 out of 10 UK children had no idea where the fruit and vegetables they eat come from, Max, who is one of the explorers, launched the Great Fruit Adventure. With this expedition, he aims to help educate children in the UK as well as internationally to tackle the ongoing ignorance of fresh produce and teach them that fruit doesn't just grow on trees.
The Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union, the AMCU, through its Marikana Massacre MCU Trust Fund wing and the Horizon Educational Trust have partnered for Change in a landmark 1.5 million sponsorship. Now, the Marikana Massacre AMCU Trust Fund and the Horizon Education Trust Fund have partnered to transform the lives of 5 marginalized children, and their common objective has been to facilitate a private school education scholarship from grade 8 to 12 at the Horizon International High School in Turffontein, Johannesburg. These children originate from within the AMCU constituency across the country and hail from Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal provinces respectively. Now, as part of its mission, the AMCU Trust Fund has sought out partnerships with both commercial entities and civil society organizations to offer relief to marginalized and vulnerable children in several areas of need. One such partner is the Horizon Educational Trust, founded in 1998, and the HET Trust has played a significant role in the educational, cultural, and social fields for the past 19 years. Now, Horizon International High School is one of South Africa's schools founded by the HET. It is based in Johannesburg, Turffontein, and prides itself in developing a generation with deep knowledge of mathematics, science, and technology to the level of global standards. The high school has recorded an exceptional 100% matric pass and exemption rate for several years running, including 2016. And that's all from us with the news.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Alrighty, everybody. We're actually going to talk about something quite relevant today, and something that's really, really topical, and something that's been trending on your Twitter page. You've seen it, I'm sure, on all of your big news networks. I'm talking from print to on screen. Have been talking about the Grace Bible Church scandal. I don't want to call it scandal because now it makes it sound a little bit, offside. But what happened was, if you aren't aware, which I'm pretty sure you are, is this past Sunday, the celebrity that we all was well known and loved on Idols, and he's been dancing for years and he's been acting for years. So Mzimba Mhlongo walked out on a what he interpreted as a homophobic sermon given at the Grace Bible Church, and I think the pastor was talking a lot of really, really, really intense stuff, talking about how, in the animal kingdom there aren't any, male and male relations, and he sort of was alluding to the fact that it is a natural process to be of the LGBTI community, right? Now, a lot of people have had mixed reactions about it. A lot of people are saying, you know what, that was a little bit too much. A lot of pastors will get on these big platforms like Grace Bible Church or Rema, and these churches, I mean, they've got a lot of people attending them and a very big following. And a lot of these pastors will come on and they will say whatever it is that they want to say, regardless of who's in the crowd, who may be affected, and how it may affect those who are sitting down. So today we're going to be speaking a little bit about how religion and, basically how religion can interfere with how communities really engage with people that are different to them. I think that's the most safest way to talk about it. And also, obviously the community is a big part of CSI. Community is what CSI is about. So we found it very important that we sort of speak about it in a way that is going to be helpful to the community that we are also trying to serve as CSI and CSR, part of the CSI and CSR community, but also, the role religion really can play to influence people in how they relate, how they understand people that are different to them, like LGBTI communities and other minorities like sex workers, like homeless people. How do, these churches really get them? How do they, and just normal people as well, how do they understand their authority and how do they use it positively, and do they and should they?
Well, I think there are a lot of churches that obviously not all churches are huge. Not all churches have pastors that have private jets.
No, of course.
And not all churches are as big as Rhema and Grace Bible Church. Some churches have like 10 or 20 people.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you have a lot of pastors are always especially the pastors of the bigger Bible, of the bigger churches, they're always saying how if you want to receive a blessing from God, you need to give to God. Okay? So whether it's your entire pension fund, all your savings, if you want God to bless you, then you need to give that money, right? But then you get church pastors of all these major churches where they have everything. They have a private jet, which I don't think you need a private jet as a pastor. I really, really don't think, because who are you going to visit in that private jet? Come to me with a car. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But I feel like if you want to, or if you think it's right, and if you think God is telling you to tell your flock or your congregation to give back to God, even if it's the last money they have, then why are you trading that are you not trading that private jet to open a soup kitchen? Or why aren't you, also maybe opening a foundation or whatever the case may be? And obviously it's a lot of money to do that, but a lot of these pastors have all this money. Now, why I'm saying, why I actually mentioned that the pastors that are asking people to give their last money is actually based on the pastor of Alleluia Ministries. Now his name is Pastor Alf Lekau, and I think, I'm not sure if it was 2012 or 2013, he attempted to bribe a pensioner and force her into giving her entire savings to the church, in order for her to receive a blessing from God. And now this pastor has been under the spotlight, for quite a long time. He was on Checkpoint Now the other day for hosting an event where more than 7,000 single women from as far as the UK, Seychelles, and the Democratic Republic of Congo flocked to the Gallagher Convention Center in Midrand in the hope of finding a good man. And they were there for the start of the Alleluia Ministries international pastor, Alf Lekau, for a 90-day marriage miracle countdown. So he said, if you want to have a man, so single women flocked, women who thought they had problems, or women experienced problems in their marriage, they also attended the event, which was called the Wholeness for Greatness. And so the tickets range from 450 Rand to 5,000 Rand for a VIP ticket. Yeah. So he said
there's a VIP section in the church.
And he said a prayer will get you a husband. So a lot of people paid 5,000 Rand so that they can get a husband within 90 days, And he obviously anointed their ring fingers and said, Mr. Right would appear in 90 days. The guy...
I remember the story, actually.
Yeah, the guy who you've been hoping for is going to appear in 90 days. 5,000 Rand you are paying. And you have to think about all these... you have to think about how many people made loans to attend the event, or how many people saved up, to attend the event. 5,000 Rand just to attend the event. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
And I feel like if you really, really want to pray for me and you really want to make a difference in my life, then why don't you just do that? Why must I pay 5,000 Rand?
Yeah, it's quite crazy. And a lot of the time, I think a lot of people they downplay the kind of authority and the kind of power a lot of these churches have. I mean, if you can make that much money out of people, you have to start investigating how much power you really have. Also, not to take away agency from people, because I don't really necessarily think people just listen and do as the pastor says. I mean, people are active thinkers and they can sort of distinguish between what's right and what's wrong. But what we're saying is, if you are in a position of power and authority, things that we've seen in the past, like you're saying with Pastor Lekau, as well as the pastor at Grace Bible Church recently, and the Doom pastor and all these other pastors, what we can't neglect is the fact that they have some sort of authority, and it's because of their ranking, it's because they're a pastor, and they can use that authority to really sway how some people may think, sway how people use their money, sway a lot of different things. And anyone who has a kind of power needs to also have the responsibility of understanding that they can influence things negatively. So for instance, I'm pretty sure, that the pastor at Grace Bible Church was speaking from his own understanding of a Bible. He was speaking from his own ideas, his own ideologies, how he was brought up, how he understands, God and in his own way. And that's how he got to where he is, right? He spoke about what he thought and people understood and people followed. But for him to not understand that someone who may be hearing that, who may have been already homophobic, may take that and use it to really to marginalize queer people all over wherever they meet them, because they're finding some sort of stamp that says it's okay to think like the way I'm thinking, and it's okay to want to just vengefully want to be violent. And in the same way as these women, you listen to these pastors who talk about prosperity, and I will give you this and God will give you this, and they sort of like this sort of bridge between God and you. And when you are out of all options, they will use that sort of desperation to really gain something out of it. I mean, there was no reason for him to charge it 5,000. There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason. If you really, like you say, if you really want to help a woman, or God has sent you or told you that if you pray for a woman to be in a relationship and to be happy in a relationship, that's what you called to do. There's no reason for you to charge them for that, because it's a service that you have gotten from your God. And I think there's such a big issue around religion in South Africa. People are afraid to speak about it because a lot of Africa as a continent is very, very traditional and very, very Christian and very, very Muslim as well. And so what happens is that people are really afraid to go against and to speak up against these kinds of big ministries and big congregations, because everyone's thinking the same way. Everyone in your community, in your immediate community, is part of this big community of churchgoers and believers. And it's very difficult for someone who is an LGBTI activist, who is someone like Somizi, or who is someone who's sort of marginalized, stand up and say, I don't really agree with you, because everyone sort of has this unified sense of thinking about unified idea of how to be a proper Christian, how to be a proper Muslim, and it's very difficult for you to stand up for yourself, I think.
Yeah, but I also feel like, with Somizi, he should have at least respected the church.
Okay.
Because a church is, a sacred place. A mosque is sacred. A Taj Mahal is sacred. All these, sanctuaries are sacred. And I feel, I don't know who's guilty. I don't know if it's the pastor or whatever the case may be, but I feel like if you're in a church with about 5,000 people or 3,000 people, right, and the pastor is preaching about, he just decided to preach about drinking.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, or he's saying, God never got drunk, blah, blah, or whatever he says, okay? It doesn't necessarily give you the right to get up, because you're like, oh my word, maybe he can see that I'm drunk, or maybe he can sense that I drank last night, and now you want to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if the pastor, obviously we can't tell if the pastor saw Somizi or whatever the case may be, but I don't think it was really a personal attack on Somizi. If he doesn't agree, not everyone agrees with what the Bible says. Not everyone agrees with what pastors say, you know. But if he didn't agree, he could have just been like, okay, I don't agree. But to walk out and to make a video out of that on Twitter and just to go crazy, that was a bit uncalled for. But I also feel, you know, just flipping the coin here, I feel like pastors, especially in the mega churches, you know, the huge churches, I feel like they are in a position, like corporate companies who have lots of money, they are in the position to really reach out to the community. A corporate company that has a lot of money is in the position to donate school kits to children or to, you know,
kids to children.
School kits.
Oh, kids. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you donating kids to kids? Okay, I'm joking.
But so, you know, that kind of thing. So you are, if you have the money, you are in a position, you know, to give back to your community, to fund an organization and that kind of thing. And the same way I feel, just like corporate companies, a lot of pastors and a lot of churches who have lots of money can do the same thing, can donate, can sponsor, you know. And I mean, I looked up on Alleluia Ministries. Okay, so they said more than 7,000 single women, you know, flocked for this event. And, you know, the 5,000 Rand, that was the highest. So a lot of people paid 5,000 Rand, okay, for this church event. Now, how much money didn't they make in that one night? You know, and
was
this
only one night.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
only a one night event.
Okay.
Yeah. So this guy doesn't want to speak to the media. He has bodyguards. This pastor has bodyguards. Nobody speaks to the media. Nobody even touches me. Because, I don't know, are pastors celebrities these days? I don't know. But I kind of looked up on Alleluia Ministries and I didn't find any philanthropic efforts or
with the money made from that night type of thing.
Not even his church. He made all that money in one night, right? But it's not a struggling church. He is a famous pastor internationally. Everyone knows him internationally. He has a huge church. So the church has money. Okay. Now this church specifically has money, but I haven't seen them donate like 1,000 Rand to 2 kids. Nothing, not even something small, nothing. So I feel like if you are in a position, if you are the pastor, if you are a mega church that has money to buy private jets for everyone, why not use some of their money and give?
Definitely.
What is the problem?
Definitely. And a lot of them don't, hey, Labika, like you're saying, a lot of them really don't look at giving and they only want to just focus on how they can make profit. And I think it has very much corporate mentality, like you're saying. But, you know, I got the chance to speak to Out, I don't know if you know Out Wellbeing, which is an LGBTI community, an organization that looks out and services and trains and educates people on LGBTI communities and how to sort of especially in terms of health and in terms of other things, how to sort of make sure that they're given the right services, make sure that they are, you know, included in society. So it's a very beautiful, holistic organization. And I spoke to them in regard to what's been happening and how the LGBTI community is really, really feeling. Because I mean, the church and LGBTI community have had a really, really difficult relationship from, you know, from you know, history can tell you that. But what he said is, you know, he really appreciated the fact that Sibi stood up because it was a direct reflection of what LGBTI people go through on a daily. It was just a visible one. It was for them something that could have been put up and said, you know, this is what we go through, and you might not see it all the time, but this is exactly what we always feel. And I mean, I spoke to a friend of mine who is also part of the LGBTI community and who was at Grace Bible Church that specific day when he was speaking to Samizi, and he said to me, you know, Via, as much as I really didn't want to storm out, but I didn't want to leave. I felt so heavy. I felt so down. I didn't even know how to look up and look at people in the eyes, because it's not like you can't see he's not gay. It's not like you can't see it. You know, it's evident in him. And imagine how many of the people in the congregation, and a lot of them are on the down low and are not, and there's a lot of different things. But for me, I just feel like you can't take away how you made those people feel that day, regardless of how you would have preached in sort of an intolerant sort of sermon. Imagine the people who are gay, like Somizi, how many other people sat there and listened and had to take that in. And were just afraid to storm out because it would make them seem gay. Do you get what I'm saying? So anyway, he was speaking about that, and he said, you know, one of the biggest things he said is that hate speech cannot be free speech cannot harbor hate. And as much as you are someone who can go into a church and you're a pastor, you have that authority, you need to understand that we have a constitution that says you need to honor people's dignity, you need to honor people's human rights, basic rights. And if what you're saying infringes on that, how do we then draw the line between, you know, what religion, the role of religion, the role of the law as well, you know? So it was a very, you know, gray area. And he just spoke about there's a lot of education that needs to be done in this country. There's a lot of, tolerance, and people need to integrate a little bit more with different sexualities. And I think a lot of the time it's so far and few in between that there's no real connection. And that's what OUT does. It bridges the gaps between, you know, queer people and people who don't understand queer communities, sort of get them to understand in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of the kind of problems that they go through and the kind of things that they suffer with. I mean, he was telling me that at Home Affairs, you know, transgender people are denied IDs. You know, some police officers, we've spoken about this at length, some police officers don't even help people who are in the LGBTI community when they're in trouble. Yeah. There's a lot of different things that he spoke about, but I just want to shout them out and say, if you want to find out a little bit more about OUT, go to www.out.org.za, and you can find out a little bit more about them and what they can do for you if you are in the LGBTI community and you were sort of negatively affected by any religious or even just normal person on the street. I think they really are a safe haven, and they'll help you out with any psychological or health problems you might have.
Yes, so please let us know what your thoughts are on, regarding everything we spoke about and regarding this Somizi topic. At Social One TV on Twitter, at TV_CSI on Instagram, and Social TV on Facebook. Until tomorrow.
The Social Show is the only show that gives you updated content on all things CSI.
The show will interrogate and report on the latest initiatives that are supported, developed and initiated by the public and private sector.
Hosted by myself, Viwe Cholwana,
and me, Lebika Raward,
every week from 4 to 5 p.m. Hear it on brandlive.co.za.
See it on social-tv.co.za.
brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.